Hey, and welcome to day 15 of 365-ish days reading the Bible together. We are going through the Bible chronologically in 1 year. We are on day 15, which means we have officially done 2 full weeks in the Bible. That is a huge congratulations to you. So, I'm going to just give you a round of applause just real quick. I know that was cheesy. Anyway, today we finished the book of Job. So you get another round of applause because not only did you finish 2 weeks in the Bible consistently, you also finished an entire book of the Bible. Do you know people go to their grave without ever reading a full book of the Bible? Some people don't even know. They've never even seen a Bible. Some people only know the stories, almost as if fairy tales that their grandmother passed down. But you opened the Bible, you got up every day, you opened the Bible, and you looked at the words, God's words, with your own eyes. That is a huge accomplishment. That is huge. So congrats. So chapter 40, chapter 41, and chapter 42 is just Job and the Lord speaking. The Lord starts chapter 40 with, do you still want to argue with the Almighty? Like, I just painted a picture for you, a very scenic and beautiful imagery for you of how powerful and just how mighty I am, and how intricate I am. Do you really want to argue with me when I've thought about every single thing? And Job says, I am nothing. How could I ever find the answers? I will cover my mouth with my hand. I have said too much already. I have nothing more to say. I think that was the best thing Job could have said in this moment. Had he done anything else, we probably would have seen a different reaction from the Lord. But he had a humble heart in his response to the Lord. This whole book of Job was basically demanding God for answers. And he was like, I need to hear it from your mouth. So then the Lord spoke directly to Job. And Job was like, oh, maybe I need to put my hand over my mouth because this is a big God. This is the sovereign God. This God is huge. And one thing I have highlighted in my Bible is chapter 42, verse 5. Job says, I had only heard about you before, but now I have seen you with my own eyes. I take back everything I said, and I sit in dust and ashes to show my repentance. Although Job was lamenting, we talked about it a couple days ago, it was almost teetering on the line of pride. He was like tap dancing on the line of pride, and also demanding God to speak to him. Like he's God's way up here. We can't demand anything of God. We need to realize that our very lives belong to God and we should live fully and exclusively for his purpose and glory. I had something here I wanted to read and I lost it. Hang on 1 second. God had shown Job that as a limited human being, he had neither the ability to judge the God who created the universe nor the right to ask why suffering had come upon him. God's actions do not depend on ours. He will do what he knows is best, regardless of what we think is fair. It is important to note, however, that God came to Job, demonstrating his love and care for him. That's a note in my Bible. Now, nor the right to ask why suffering had come upon him. That's the note from my Bible. I personally feel like you should be able to bring your questions to God. That's the only person you should be bringing your questions to. You shouldn't be bad-mouthing God. You shouldn't be going off at the mouth. But if you feel conflicted, that is something you bring to God. And so even though it's a note, it's not actually... this is from my study Bible. So the study Bible has notes from theologians who have sat down together, who devoted their lives to the Bible and have broken down verses and what they believe best reflects those verses. So the theologians best believe that it best reflects that Job didn't have the right to ask God. But I personally, in my heart, especially being someone who has lost my child, just like Job lost his children, I have asked why. Like, wasn't there another way? But the questions are natural. It's a natural human response. The difference is, though, accepting God's sovereignty. Like, you might question it, you might not have chosen it for yourself, you might be frustrated with the decision, but at the end of the day, you accept it and know that God is God. He sees all, He knows all, and He is working it together for my good. Even though I don't understand this moment, even though I have a million questions about these moments, even though, God, I would love an answer for this moment, it's okay if I don't get an answer. So I'm a little bit at odds with that. Like, I do feel like you can ask God, because if not God, who else are you going to ask? And it's better to go straight to the parent. That is, I'm also a parent. Well, I just told you guys I'm a parent. I have other kids outside of my son who passed. And in my parenting style, I prefer my daughter, if she has questions, to come directly to me, to ask me the questions, so then we can nip whatever it is right in the butt. Like, I can give her a reason if I feel like she's able to handle the reason, and if not, she doesn't get a reason. But she had the opportunity to bring her questions to her parental figure, and God is a parent to you. So yeah. I believe you can ask God questions, but do not question whether He was right. He's always right. So I hope that makes sense. He is above justice. We talked about that yesterday. The last thing I want to just touch upon is the Lord's conclusion. After the Lord finished speaking to Job, He was frustrated and angry with Job's 3 friends. He literally said, I'm angry with you, and for that, you're going to have to go give Job some of your animals so Job can make an offering and pray. And it wasn't until Job prayed for his friends that the Lord restored his fortunes. And I highlighted that in verse 10 of chapter 42, because to me, that was like screaming out, like, the Lord knew. He knew the whole plan from the moment Satan walked up to him and had idle hands and needed something to do. The Lord knew He would test Job. He knew He would also reward Job. But Job also had to do his part. Had Job not prayed, he would have missed out. Had he not prayed for the friends who were sitting there trying to condemn him in his time of grief, he would have missed out on God's reward. And so that is so big to me. Like, that just speaks volumes about your obedience. And we'll end there for tonight. But yeah, that was just really big for me. Because so many people are quick to say, oh, the Lord doesn't hear me, or oh, the Lord's not working. I don't see the Lord working in my life. Is it because you haven't prayed? Is it because you haven't done what the Lord expects you to do? You are supposed to be yoked to Jesus. He says, my yoke is eaten and my yoke is easy and my burden is light. I believe in Matthew. I think I'm butchering this. Take my yoke upon you, let me teach you, because I am humble and gentle at heart, and you will find rest for your soul. For my yoke is easy to bear, and the burden I give you is light. I didn't butcher it that badly, you guys. That's Matthew 11:29 through 30. And so that means you are supposed to be walking with the Lord. You're supposed to be, it's not an egg yolk. That's what I thought it was for many years. It is like when you see 2 horses walking together, or 2 whatever walking together, the thing around their necks that's keeping them in line with the next animal, that's the yoke. You are supposed to be like that with Jesus and the Lord. And so are you just expecting the Lord to do everything for you, and are you not being obedient and walking along with Him? If you're supposed to be moving, are you moving when God says to move? We'll pick this up tomorrow. Have a blessed night.